Welcome to a very, very special episode, series thing of How I Did It, NaNoRenO edition, where over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to sort of kind of run you through my process of developing a game from concept to completion for a jam like NaNoRenO, where it's a jam, but it's kind of a longish jam. And so today we're going to start with our concept, like our story seeds, and where we start and how we're going to keep fleshing it out. This is a digital mind map version of kind of what I go through when I'm sort of sussing out a concept and like figuring out where I want to take it. Because what's fun and frustrating about visual novels is as you're sort of developing the initial phases and fleshing out the concept and figuring out what you want to do, you kind of have to take in consideration both the narrative side and the player experience side, because they need to sort of mesh together. They need to make sense with one another, which is easier than it seems. Like, I'm not saying that it needs to be complicated, just that they go together and they seem like they make sense. Because the more copacetic the two can be, the more of a kind of cool overall experience you can make. So what's the plan for this NaNoRenO game? Well, for the vast majority of game jam games, I tend to start with what goals I want to achieve. That's usually meaning something that I sort of have been wanting to do for a while, or, I'm feeling kind of creatively stunted and I want to kind of play with it. Or things I want to learn, because, hey, it's a jam, it's a learning experience. This isn't intended to be a fully fleshed out commercial release, maybe. I don't know. So for this one, these are my goals for this particular game jam. I'd like to make something in sci-fi because I haven't done sci-fi in a while, and it would be fun. And I haven't really done anything post-apocalyptic ever, and I love post-apocalypses, so I kind of want to play with that just because it's fun. I definitely want to do something where I divorce love interests from the ending. So I still want to include love interests because I like them. They're fun, despite being, ace. I do like me a good love interest. But I definitely want to separate them from the ending so that you could get multiple love interests on multiple endings, like kind of how, and that way there's a little bit of replayability. It's like, oh, no, I'm going to romance this person, but do this ending instead. What's going to happen? How's it going to change? And they also want to play with a customizable main character and backstory, both appearance and backstory. Appearance for sure, because I did that for Disheveled, and it was a lot of fun, and I want to have an excuse to do it again. Because I just haven't ever. I've always had very, very specific main characters, and so I'd like to play with just a customized main character. So that's going to include both their appearance and a fun backstory, maybe? I think that would be very exciting. Those are my main goals. I'm also possibly, if I have the time, consider including some 3D modeling, because I've been relearning how to 3D model after that being my degree, and I'm just kind of relearning how to do it. I think it'd be fun to incorporate that into a game. But it's also, I know how time intensive it is, so I'm not going to make it like, I have to do it. I might play with the idea of incorporating stats just to play with sort of some RPG elements. I don't know. I'm not really sure. So for sure, I'm going to be doing these 3 things. That's why they're in red. That's why they're very important to me. Other orange things, maybe, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just take these. I'm going to take these. I'm going to take them. I'm going to drag them up here. And so, okay. So I've got my genre. That's very big and doesn't quite work. I'm just going to throw it right there. Okay, I've got a genre. Okay, so I'm going to have the love endings and the love interests go together or not go together. Okay, I'm going to have a customizable MC. That'd be fun. I'll go ahead and throw this over here for art and aesthetic. And I'll go ahead and throw this over here for stats because, like, oh yeah, stats, maybe. And then, okay, so now these are my anchoring points. These are my places where I'm like, okay, what do I want to do from here? Let's think. So I start with sort of what's going to be my premise. Okay, so it's sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, pseudotopia. Aha, I'm going to pull something from one of my writing prompt folders. And that's going to be sort of, we've destroyed the Earth. But it's cool. Aliens arrived who can breathe our atmosphere. who can breathe our terrible atmosphere and build us domes. And this is all going to be spelled wrong because I can't see what I'm typing. So there you go. That's our premise. Just gonna, it's very, let's see. There we go. Cool. Surface of the Earth, but it's cool. Aliens arrive who can breathe our terrible atmosphere and build us domes on the surface. And we're going to make sure all those things are spelled correctly. And you know what? Just for aesthetic's sake, I'm going to go ahead and not do that. I'm going to make sure that this is word wrapped. Wow, there we go. Cool. Just so it actually looks like we know what we're doing, which even though we don't, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, cool. Got my premise. Cool. Okay, so what am I gonna do from there? All right, cool. So aliens have destroyed the Earth. Means there's gonna be domes on the Earth. Means there's gonna be aliens. And so my quote unquote love interest is gonna be aliens. But there's also gonna be probably a guy and probably a girl. Maybe they're human. I don't know. Maybe I'll do 4. 4 is usually pretty good for these kinds of things for me. Demographic. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Plot. I got some ideas. Ooh. Oh, okay, here we go. Plot. I got some ideas. I don't know. Setting. It's gonna be sci-fi post-apocalyptic Earth. Apocalyptic. I suddenly realized I don't know how to spell anything. Cool beans. And let's go ahead and make sure that is weird. Cool beans. That's not. I want you to do this. I'm going to click you, and you're going to give me that option. Thank you. Can be a little tricky to work with. Cool. Post-apocalyptic Earth. Okay, cool. Great. Themes. I don't know. I'll come back to it later. It's going to be original. It's fine. Conflict. Ooh, conflict. What could be a really cool conflict? I got it. You work for the aliens. And the humans don't like it. And we can figure it out more from there. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. So I got a cool conflict. Oh, okay, cool. So this leads me to think, okay, you work for the aliens. Humans don't like it. Okay, so the choices you're going to make are going to affect, overall outcome. So maybe I'll play more with binary choices as opposed to iterative choices. That way it's like, okay, every single choice you make matters. So every choice matters maybe. As opposed to it being more like, oh, the choices build up over time. And so that might leave me to a decision of, oh, okay, maybe the story will be kind of like to show you what I mean by every choice matters. It would be kind of like, wow, really super cool if I could like do these things I wanted to do. So it'd be kind of like this. It's like, oh, you'd make a decision, and then, oh, every single time you made a decision, it would be like, bam, bam. Oh, these are the choices I made. Oh God, what's it gonna do? And then, you make more choices along the way, and every single choice would split the story a little bit. Now, because this is a jam game, I don't know how many of these story splits I can manage, but I think this would be a fun way to address splits. It'd be super cool if you could do that for me. Thank you, sir. So as opposed to doing something that's iterative, I might do something where it's more like binary choices. Am I going to be able to get stats to work into that? I don't know. I might have to play with that a little bit. Okay, so what are some really cool ways I could do choices? Oh, what if I had like a little map? Oh, a little map. You could pick map locations. And that was part of the way you build out the story. Cool. Neat. Awesome. Maybe there are a couple actions involved. But this is starting to give me an idea of what the story is going to entail. And you notice I haven't filled in everything. Oh, I think I want this to be like a dark comedy. That would be fun. You notice I haven't filled in everything. I haven't come up with something for every single box. Because what's going to happen is, as I'm fleshing out the story, as I'm coming up with ideas, as I'm sort of figuring myself out, a lot of these are going to change. So this just gives me a springboard, a place to start. So over the next month, as I sort of figure out all the other parts, I will make changes to these. I'll make notes. I'll make plot diagrams. I'll make story structure diagrams. I'll think about the choices I want to make. I'll figure out what makes sense for what I'm doing as I go. Once I've started figuring out the concept and I've got my springboard in place, I start collecting references. And I normally just put them all in a folder and just kind of come back to them, pull them as I need them. And that's something I'll be continuing to do over the course of the development process and the conceptualizing process, just pulling references. But I decided I'd go ahead and put them all on a board right now. These are just the things I pulled this week as I'm thinking about, okay, what do I think this game could look like? And then what I always do is I make a little list. I make a little list right here. These are all the things. I don't want to watch Containment again. I already watched that. Where I think of what are some movies I could watch that kind of sort of have some of the themes I'm thinking of, where I could kind of watch them and get some inspiration. And lots of times I'll watch them like as I'm working and be like, just inspired to do so, because I feel like it's really useful to see how other shows, other movies have approached concepts you're thinking of. So one, you can either not do it that way and do it something completely different and be like exciting, or you can sort of borrow the idea you do like and make it work for you. Because, and you shouldn't feel bad about that, because nothing is new. Everything's been redone. It's fine. If there's a reason that they did it to begin with, find out what that reason is, because obviously it worked, or maybe it didn't work. You can find out so much from that. So in the next video, we will talk about scope and scheduling, because you'll notice I haven't made any hard decisions yet. That's because once I start working out scope, how much I can actually do in the time I have, that's when I have to start deciding what I can cut, what I can keep, what's integral to the story, what's integral to the thing I'm trying to do, versus what can kind of flow away. And that will also become important because I've actually cut projects completely when I get to scope and go, wow, I can't make this the way I want to make it in the time I have. I'm saving this project for later. Very important, but won't be happening with this one, hopefully. But so until then, when we talk about scope and scheduling, have fun working on your concept for your game.